Thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today we're going to break down this new top 25 from the CFP committee. And here's where I want to start. Alabama. BYU. All right, they didn't move any. This is what drives me nuts, all right? Because I'm also going to get to Utah in Miami. How the hell does Miami jump Utah? All right. Who did Alabama play? Eastern Illinois. This is an FCS school. It's not even a good one. They only got 3 wins on the entire year. They're one of the worst FCS schools out there. BYU went on the road. They beat Cincinnati, who was ranked in this top 25 just a week ago until they lost. I know, but I'm sorry. Alabama at home versus Eastern Illinois, 3 wins, or BYU on the road versus Cincinnati. I think BYU had done enough and Alabama hadn't done shit. For BYU should have jumped Alabama. They should have switched spots, but the committee's not going to do that. They're going to give Alabama every chance in the world to make the playoffs. That's what they're going to do. And it's BS. It's straight garbage. All right. Basically, what they're saying is, hey, Alabama, if Auburn beats you, you're out. All right. And here's another thing. If BYU, they have to beat Texas Tech. If they beat Tech in the Big 12 title game, Tech's not going to fall out of the top 10. They're not going to fall out of the playoffs. But that should knock Alabama out. Or whoever the 10 team is will get knocked out at that point. Now, let's get to the Miami-Utah BS. Here's Miami. So, who did they beat? Oh, they lit up Virginia Tech. They lit up Virginia Tech. And what is Virginia Tech, by the way? Oh, they're 3-8, 2-5 in the ACC. In other words, they suck, y'all. They suck. But that was enough. That was enough for them to jump Utah. Oh, Utah struggled against Kansas State. Yeah, they struggled against Kansas State. Where is Kansas State? Oh, they're 5-6. They're damn near a bowl team. Damn near a bowl team. They got Colorado at home left. They are going to make they're going to make a bowl game. They're going to get bowl eligible. Bowl eligible team versus non-bowl eligible. Like not even close to bowl eligible. You tell me what gives Miami the right to jump Utah. I'll tell you what it is, Utah fans. It's because your brand isn't as big as Miami's brand. That's it. That is the only freaking reason that happened at all. This playoff committee, this year's playoff committee, they care more about brand than what you've earned. Period. End of story. Look, Alabama's got some great wins. They absolutely have some great wins. One of them being Georgia up here. They also lost to Florida State, who sucks. BYU has 1 loss, and that's the number 5 Texas Tech team. That's it. So Utah gets to drop, even in victory, but because it's not a wide enough margin, and because Kansas State can play. If this committee knew anything about Kansas State, they were one of the favorites coming into the year to win the conference. All right, they fell off, but they still have guns. Avery Johnson can still play. He's disappointed this year, but he can still play. And that entire team is well coached and they can get it done. Even against mighty Utah. That's what it shows you. But they don't know that. All they see is a record. A record and a brand. a helmet. That's it. That's all the CFP is worried about. Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt deserves to be... There's no way in hell Miami deserves to jump Vanderbilt. Screw you. I'm sorry. That shouldn't happen. All right. Other takeaways here. Tennessee, I'm not going to bitch about Tennessee anymore. They're there. That's it. Vanderbilt should take care of Tennessee. I can't see Tennessee, because Tennessee ain't beat nobody this year. Nobody. But I am happy as hell to see Arizona at number 25. They've earned the right. I don't know why you got Tulane up here. Arizona would destroy Tulane. Look, Boise State had earned what they earned last year. In a lot of years, there's a G6 school that had definitely earned the right to be in the top 25. Tulane, no. I'm sorry, no. Screw yourself. Let's go let's go ahead and check out the Old American. They don't even have... Look, North Texas has a better record than Tulane. What in the hell are they thinking? What is that? Why isn't North Texas up here? Why aren't they in the top 25? If you got to have an American school for some reason. Just crap. Dude, some of these decisions that this committee has made just sucks. It just sucks. That's all I could tell you. Let's see. SMU, well earned. And by the way, this should put to bed any notion that the ACC is not going to get any schools in the playoffs, just like it was BS last year with the Big 12. I was looking at it because I was trying to squeeze Utah into the CFP and BYU and Texas Tech. 3 schools, and that ain't going to happen. And Oregon, all right, they smacked around USC. USC should have dropped way further than this. They should have dropped further than this. But down here, it kind of gets to be a mess. Virginia, I get it. Look, I know the ACC isn't great, but they got 11 bowl-eligible teams this year. It's not bad. Yeah, but why didn't Pitt a little higher than this? They should be above Tennessee. And I can see, look, they earned the right to be above Arizona State. No, they got SMU above Pitt. Again, let's go with the standings here. I mean, it's basically tied. I know SMU's won the last 3 games, but doesn't that seem weird to you? I'm really pulling for SMU to get into the ACC title game again, but I almost want to see Pitt beat Miami just to shut this damn committee up, because this is bullshit. This is straight crap. I don't know. It drives me up the freaking wall here. It really does. It drives me up the wall that they take the sexy brand in Miami and they got to force them above Utah. But that should show you right there, Utah fans. If you think you're going to the Big Ten, you need to slow down. This is the perception, the national perception. Miami is just better than you. Even though if they played, I would put my money on Utah. I would put my money at neutral site in Miami. In Utah, definitely I'm putting my money on Utah. Regardless of where they play. I think Utah is just a better team. Matter of fact, I don't know that Miami beats Vanderbilt. I don't know that happens. I don't think Miami could beat Texas. USC, yeah, sure. They could beat USC. Could they beat Michigan? I don't know if they could beat Michigan. I don't know why they're... Well, I'm going to take that back. I do know why they're up here. Brand name only. Oh, they beat Notre Dame. Who gives a Randy shit? That's the first game of the season. Doesn't even matter. I mean, if you're not going to count a loss, the first game of the season, a loss that hard against Notre Dame, As a matter of fact, that's probably why they threw Miami up there, force feeding them up there, just to prop up the Notre Dame at number 9. That's some sad shit. That is some serious sad shit. Oh, it's like they're almost trying to make up for why Notre Dame is up here at number 9. Kind of like that. Because to me, BYU should be in the top 10. As a matter of fact, they should be number 9. Next week, Oregon. They're gonna face Washington and they're gonna beat them. It won't matter what Texas Tech does. They could win by 100. They could win by 100. They're gonna put them at number 5. Tech, get ready for it. Get ready for it. You're gonna drop to number 6 next week. There's nothing you can do. That's what they want. That is what they want. Who does Texas Tech have last year? West Virginia. Yeah, they're going to drop your ass. They're going to drop you. Even though Washington is no longer ranked. Washington isn't ranked in that. No. But Oregon has to travel to Washington. And they're going to give them way more credit for beating Washington. Washington's, had a nice season. It's nothing to crap on. They're 8-3. They're going to finish 8-4. But look, the last thing I want to talk about is Oregon. Because look, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia, no problem with any of that. Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, even Oklahoma don't have a problem with that. 9 and 10, it's name value. And look, I'm not saying Alabama doesn't deserve a spot. I'm not saying they don't deserve a spot, but they don't deserve to be over BYU right now. As far as a recency bias, no. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. I think it's bullshit. But let me say this about Oregon real quick. Oregon. I remember several videos ago I was talking about Oregon. I was looking down the stretch here of when there was a lot more teams vying for the playoff in the Big Ten. And I looked at it and I said, look, Oregon, they're going to get Iowa, USC, Washington. They're just going to, to me, they were just going to run the table and knock out a bunch of these threats for a Big 12 getting more than 2 schools in, or getting 2 schools in, a possibility of getting 2 schools in. And it's happening just like I was thinking it was going to happen. And look, that's an ass whooping. They beat the living dog crap out of USC. USC, look, they put up 27 points. That's cute. But does it matter? Iowa's always a nice story. Always close, but no cigar. So, yeah, I was taking it for granted Oregon was going to do exactly what they have done. And look, I went back on it. I said, well, maybe this, maybe that. No. Because there was never going to be more than 2 losses for them. So, are they going to go into Washington and get that win? Yeah, you bet your ass they're going to. Because that's what Oregon does. It's what they do. There's a few years where they don't. There's a year recently that Washington was just better than them. That ain't this year. Wasn't last year. It's not going to be most years. Oregon just out-recruits a ton of people, including Washington. Most of the Big Ten they out-recruit. But, so, can the Big 12, though? Can the Big 12 get 2 teams into the playoff? Yes. And there's only one way to do it. BYU has to beat Tech in the Big 12 title game. That's it. That was the only reason, the only way. I pretty much knew the committee nor anyone else would take out Alabama and put in BYU. Why? Well, maybe it's because they're a little too Mormon for some people. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking when I say that. I think it's been evident for a very long time with BYU that the powers that be have no respect. All right, even if they're Christians, because a lot of Christians kind of give us some side eye to the Mormon people. It's definitely, without a doubt, hands down, out of all of the denominations of Christianity, Mormons are the most hated. And it's weird because they're actually the nicest, probably. They're a little nicer than Baptists. Baptists are nice people. They're good people. Methodist, I don't know. Nowadays, a little sketchy. Catholics get some hate. But it is kind of earned, with the priest and the altar boy kind of thing that went on for a long time. The cover-ups. It not everybody should be painted with that broad brush in the Catholic faith, of course. But they're kind of more tolerated. They've been around forever. Okay, Catholics. So they catch a lot of hell. The other denominations really don't. But Mormons, boy, even other Christians don't like Mormons a lot of times. To me, if you're putting Christ at the head of your church, I don't really care about the rest of it. I really don't. It's all about Christ. The entire Bible's about Christ. So if the Mormons are about Christ, we have something in common. And I could rock with them. Unfortunately, these heathenist bastards in the committee or the AP or anybody else, coaches poll, anything, national media, they look down their nose at BYU. And BYU is just going to have to find a way to beat Texas Tech. Because a close loss won't cut it. They'll be 11-1 on the year. And if they lose a Tech, they'll be 11-2. They will have absolutely earned the right to be in the CFP. But ask Florida State a couple years ago, undefeated ACC champs, about how fairness works. It doesn't. 12 teams. All I'm saying, and I will say it again, you look at the entirety of the 25-team field, this thing needs to go to 24. There are 24 worthy teams. There are 24 worthy teams. Now, I don't know about Tennessee, but whatever. Maybe Vanderbilt can completely knock them out, and then they'll shoehorn in a different SEC team. But for the most part, there's 24 teams. And look, I understand. Look, how many ACC teams do we have in here? What we got? Miami, we got Virginia, we got SMU and Pitt. That's a good 4. Got no problem with that. All apologies to Georgia Tech, but I got no problem with that. Big 12, you would have Tech, you would have BYU, you would have Utah, and your next one down would be Arizona State. I'm good with that. And really, it would be Arizona State, Arizona, last game of the year, winner gets the 4th spot. That would be amazing. That would be freaking amazing. Big 10. Well, there you go. Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, and you would probably throw in Michigan. There's your 4. Those are pretty damn big brands. I think that works. I think it works. Of course, Notre Dame will be in there. The SEC, what would it be? A&M, Georgia. It would be Ole Miss. Oklahoma would be your 4. Alabama would get in there. Vanderbilt would probably get in. Texas would probably still get in. They would have a lot of damn schools in there. So if you're an SEC fan, I don't like that 2014. Well, you would get a lot more than 4 or 5, or like last year, 3. You'd probably have 8, 7, 8, and that'd be most years. Just my last takeaway from this. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap. I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.